We're doing Rambo, baby. And let me tell you, this is one of my favorite franchises. Not because I'm a big fan of action, not because I'm a big fan of Sylvester Stallone. No, it's because this franchise has 5 movies, and they are all plenty enjoyable if you're not a whiny little guy who lets the tiniest things mess with your mind. Which, if you saw my last episode of this series, you know I am not that. First Blood, the first Rambo movie, book, actually, adapted from a novel, adapted from the novel written by David Morrell. And the novel and the movie are vastly different. I've experienced both, and they just do not go in the same directions at all. They're both almost 2 different stories. It's kind of weird. It's almost weird reading the book after watching the movie, or vice versa, because they're so different. But characters. John Rambo himself, the star of this franchise, has a pretty damn good start. This movie was in 1982. I don't even think PTSD was called PTSD yet. And this movie, I don't know much about PTSD, but I've heard this movie does a lot of justice in portraying what a traumatic event such as going to war is like. Like, I think it was called something stupid, like Vietnam Syndrome or something, but yeah. This movie, I think, from my knowledge, represents PTSD very well. And John Rambo, doesn't have any character arcs. He doesn't change by the end of the movie. He's just a guy. He's just, a guy. Sure, he might be a bit of a bum. He might be a bit of a loser. But you're rooting for him, and you're hoping he finds peace. But this entire movie, he never finds an inch of peace, and is on the run for the whole movie until the end, where he gets arrested. Spoilers, yes, I spoil the movies right in the 2-minute 30 mark. So, yeah. Rambo is a fantastic protagonist. He's not, and see, a lot of other badass characters are described as badass before you even meet them. Rambo, however, by the time he's being described as badass, you've already seen him be badass. You've seen him jump from a cliff, escape officers, fight multiple officers all at the same time. You've seen examples of him being badass, so it shouldn't take much convincing to say, you're like, Charmin's saying he's a badass. You know what, though? I think that kind of checks out, though. I mean, he is kind of badass. I do believe he can live off the land and eat things that'll make a billy goat puke because of what I've seen. I've used my eyes by now, so yeah, I think it's a pretty good observation. Well, I'm just gonna do 3 characters for each movie, since that's all I really need to do. Troutman, Colonel Sam Troutman, maybe 3 or 4. I'll do any characters that I think are important to the plot. So I think I'll do 4 for this one, since I think there's only really 4 that I think are worth mentioning. Troutman, he's kind of there, but this movie would absolutely not be the same without Richard Crenna's excellent performance as Troutman. He almost steals every scene he's in, and Rambo and him don't even talk face to face until the end of the movie, but you feel the relationship just between them talking on a radio. You can sense that Troutman, these 2 had each other's backs, man. Anyways, Teasel. Well, I think actually, no, I'll do Teasel and then Gold. Teasel is the villain of the movie. And he's not like some menacing evil mastermind. He's just a douchebag. He's a prick. And you're just voting for Rambo to kick this guy's ass for once, and he does. But it's like, yeah, you're just hoping this guy gets his comeuppance. Not like die or anything, but you're just hoping, God, I want to see Rambo kick his ass. And you do, luckily. Some movies, I don't know, don't do that really. Don't give you that satisfaction. Anyway, he's good at his antagonistical role, as small as it is, and as pathetic and wimpy as he is. Serves his role pretty damn well. He serves his role as a villain pretty well. But there's technically a second villain in this movie. Almost every Rambo movie, except for like the fourth one, has almost basically two villains. Every single one except for the fourth one kind of has two antagonists. Galt actively tried to murder Rambo. Rambo was helplessly basically dangling off a cliff, and Galt had the gall to just shoot at this completely defenseless guy hanging off a cliff, to the point where Rambo has no option but to jump off a cliff, like a 50-foot drop into a tree. That is not a good situation for anybody to be in. So, yeah. And not only does he not stop shooting, he just, that he has the helicopter just flying around trying to get Rambo as he hides behind this tree helplessly. And, Rambo has no choice but to throw the rock at the windshield, causing Galt to fall out. No, I think Rambo is so not at fault for Galt's death that even the helicopter pilot, who is like the only real witness to the situation besides, Rambo and, Galt's dead. So, yeah, he's the only other witness. So, I think he'd be able to testify that, it was not really Rambo's fault. It was kind of just an accident, because he threw a rock at the window, I lost control, Galt was sitting out on the edge, he fell. I don't see how you could kind of really pin the blame on Rambo unless you're a prick like Teasel. So those are the only 4 characters I'm going to talk about. There's not as many important characters I'm going to talk about here. Like, I don't think an analysis on the character of Mitch, the redhead in the background who thinks that everything's not good. I don't think I need that. Or the National Guard guy, Clinton. I don't need the analysis of him. Okay, the music done by Jerry Goldsmith is amazing. It's a Long Road is a fantastic musical track and song, and this movie would not be the same without it. And, the action soundtrack is amazing, too. Whenever action's going on, makes you feel excited, because this is an action film, not like most action films in recent years, or even in a few years later after Rambo 2. But, yeah, this first movie is pretty good. The story is simple. It's kind of simple, but it is very compelling. You kind of get drawn into this universe almost instantly. It feels very real. Like, I think this one is like the most realistic per se. I mean, all Rambos are theoretically realistic, but I mean, this one feels like this could actually happen somewhere somehow. And yeah, the action set pieces are also what make this movie. There's a great amount of set pieces that just you go through, like the set, like Rambo stealing a military truck and just bulldozing right through a damn cop car and shooting up the town, blowing shit up, running from the National Guard. And you see, when Rambo pins that kid to the ground, he has his knife out. You see, there's a difference between the book Rambo and the movie Rambo, and I feel like I should explain this. The book Rambo would have stabbed that kid so he wouldn't have gotten caught. But this Rambo isn't like that. Yeah, the book Rambo is a lot more willing to kill than this Rambo. This Rambo doesn't purposefully kill a soul until the second movie. He doesn't purposely kill anybody until the second movie. Of course, he killed people before this events, but in this events of this first movie, he doesn't kill anybody on purpose. But Book Rambo absolutely would have. Like, Book Rambo would have killed that kid that he pins to the ground. Book Rambo would have tried to actually hit somebody in the National Guard when he's shooting at everybody, unlike this Rambo. Yeah, Book Rambo is kind of a lot more evil, almost. I mean, I wouldn't call him quite evil because he's not, but he's a little bit more, let's just say messed up. He's a lot more messed up because he'd be willing to kill. So, yeah, the Rambo in this film is a lot more protagonistic than the book Rambo. Because the book Rambo is a menace to society, while this one is just a guy who is pushed over the edge. And, well, I'll be honest though, when he's on the ground there and he's standing over him, Rambo is absolutely ready to just plug him with the fucking, just load him with bullets, because I mean, I don't know, he's been pushed the whole movie. I think we can give him a little bit of leeway for wanting to kill the guy who was a dick to him. But that is First Blood. It is a great movie. I have not watched it in quite a spell. It is a great movie. It is a classic for the ages. So that is First Blood, released in 1982. Now I will give my ranking, out of 10. I'm gonna give this a 9 out of 10. Maybe even a 10 out of 10. 9.5, right in the middle. Whenever I can't decide, I'll go right in the middle. 9.5. Because it is practically perfect, and I don't think I would change a single thing about this, because it is great. This movie is amazing, and, well, I don't have any hot takes for this. I'm just gonna say this, though. It is the best Rambo movie in the history of forever, and it will never be topped, because it's First Blood, man. You can make, no matter how many bloods get drawn, First Bloods, Last Bloods, New Bloods, Final Bloods, Water Bloods, whatever bloods, this will always be the blood. I think that is all for this time. It's fucking Rambo First Blood, basically. And it started a franchise that never really produced a big stinker, just kind of a stinker to the standards of all the others, which is Rambo 3. And we'll get to that when we get to that, but, Rambo 3 is the worst, in my opinion, but it's still enjoyable and it's still good. And now, I just want to, this might be a hot take, but I'm not sure. I've heard the sentiment that after this one, they just become nothing but mindless action films with no messages behind them. I just gonna say that this outright right now. I don't think that is true at all. The second one has almost the exact same messaging as this, and sure, it might not lean as heavily into it, but still leans heavily into it. And, and then Rambo 3 has very outdated messaging. I think it was almost outdated when it was released. But yeah, it has very outdated, poorly aged messaging to it. And Rambo 4 has got some pretty good messaging. War is hell, which is all war movies, but I think Rambo 4 doesn't do it subtly, but it does it more, I think it does it better than a lot of war movies. And Rambo Last Blood, I can't bullshit my way through that one at all. There's really no messaging besides Rambo can't be happy. And that's not a real good message for your movie to have. But anyway, yeah, fictional character cannot be happy is not a good message. And we'll get to Last Blood when we get to it. I've got some things to say about that movie, good and bad. But that is basically it for First Blood. That's it. I mean, it's First Blood, baby. It's a classic. It's great. It spawned a iconic action hero, which, there really aren't enough of. There really aren't. Action heroes need to make a comeback, damn it. John Wick is basically dead now, I think. But, yeah, John Wick is dead. So, I don't know if he's coming back, but we need more John Wicks. We need more Rambos. We need more John Matrixes. More goddamn John... The other John, the one John that jumps off the blown up. What the hell is his name? The protagonist of Die Hard. We need more action heroes like that in our day and age. I feel like I don't know. I feel like we need more action heroes these days. I mean, Jason Bourne is a dead franchise. John Wick. I don't think he's coming back. I think they're actually ending it. And, yeah, John Wick. And, yeah, they just need to make a comeback, I think. Because, I mean, the 80s would not be quite the same without action heroes. I don't know, I would love to go see action movies like this, where it's just a one-man army. But we'll see what the future brings us. I don't think Rambo's going to be in another movie. I don't think there's going to be another Rambo. As much as I want one. No matter what you think of the last one, I want another one. I want to see a follow-up. But I don't think I'm going to get that, so, you know, I won't hold my breath. But yeah, that is First Blood. That is all for this time. That's about it. Bye. Get out.